Hello, children. Welcome to our next class in geography. Today's lesson is lesson number 2, land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife resources. In our previous lesson, we learnt about a resource, and we all know that resource helps us to satisfy our needs. But availability of resources differs from place to place. In some places, resources are much more in quantity, but in other places, they are less in quantity. This difference is because of the differences in the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animals, and the usage of technology. In this part, we will cover the most important natural resource, that is land. Land covers only about 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface, and all parts of this small percentage are not habitable. The term not habitable means which is not fit for living. 90% of the world population occupies only 30% of land area. The remaining 70% of the land is either sparsely populated or uninhabited. The uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to different characteristics of land and climate. Plains and river valleys offer suitable land for agriculture. Hence, these are the densely populated or the most populated areas of the world. We all know land is used for different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads, and setting up of industries. This is commonly termed as land use. The use of land depends upon number of physical factors such as topography. Topography is the structure of land, whether it is a mountain or is it a desert or is it a plateau region or is it a plain region. The soil available in the land, the climate, minerals, and availability of water, these are the physical factors which determine the use of land. Human factors such as population and technology are also important in determining the use of land. The more of human population and use of technology, the more is the use of land. Land can also be divided on the basis of private land and community land. Private land is owned by individuals, whereas community land is owned by the community for common uses like collection of fodder, fruits, nuts, or medicinal herbs. Private land is something which we have bought and we are using the land for our own personal purposes. Now, community land is a land which is equally owned by every member of the society. Community land are also known as common property resources. People and their demands are ever growing, but the availability of land is limited. The quality of land also differs from place to place. People started encroaching the common lands to build up commercial areas, housing complexes in the urban areas, and to expand the agricultural land in the rural areas. Needs of human are always rising high, which is why people in cities have started occupying common lands to build up resorts, hotels, schools, and other buildings which can help them to earn more for their life. Similarly, in rural areas, many more common lands are brought under agriculture to expand agriculture and bring sufficient growth of fruits and vegetables for earning profit. Today, the overuse of land has resulted in a lot of problems. A few problems are land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification. These are the major threats to the environment because of the expansion of agriculture and constructional activities carried on by both the people in urban as well as in rural areas. Let us understand each of these terms clearly. The decrease in the fertility or the productive capacity of the land is known as land degradation. The movement of rock or a huge mass of earth down a sloped section of land due to an earthquake, rain, or volcanic eruption is known as landslide. A gradual process of movement and transport of the upper layer of soil by water, wind, and ice is known as soil erosion. The process by which a fertile land becomes a desert either due to drought or deforestation or inappropriate or unsuitable agriculture is known as desertification. That's why we need to conserve land resource. Growing population and their ever-growing demand has led to a large-scale destruction of forest cover and cultivatable land and has created a fear of losing these natural resources. Therefore, the present rate of degradation of land resources must be checked. We all know the demand for hospitals, schools, colleges, restaurants has led to a lot of cutting down of forests and changing cultivatable agricultural land into residencies has created this loss of natural resource. Therefore, we need to stop the degradation of land resource by the following method. Number 1, afforestation. Afforestation is the process of sowing seeds or planting trees in an area that does not have tree. Number 2, land reclamation. Land reclamation is the process of making lands suitable for more intensive use. It also means that the land which were not used before because of certain reasons are brought under effective use. Number 3, the correct use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. Number 4, check on overgrazing. Now, overgrazing occurs when plants are exposed to intensive grazing for extended periods of time. Here is a detailed explanation of the destruction brought by landslide. Landslide, as we already know, is the mass movement of rock or earth down a slope due to earthquake, floods, and volcanoes. Continuous rainfall can also cause heavy landslide, which blocks the flow of river for quite some time. The blockage in the path of the flowing river causes bursting or destruction in the downstreams to the nearby settlements. In the hilly areas, landslides have been a major and widely spread natural disaster that often destroy life and property and occupy a position of major concern. Here is a case study. A massive landslide hit Panji village near Rekongpio in Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh and damaged a 200-meter stretch of old Hindustan-Tibet Road National Highway 22. This landslide was caused by an intense blasting at Panji village. Due to the blasting, this weak zone of slope collapsed and caused intense damage to the road and nearby village. The Panji village was completely vacated to avoid any loss of life. Advancement in scientific techniques has helped us to understand what factors can cause landslides and how to manage them. Some broad technical measures to avoid landslides are as follows. Number 1, hazard mapping. Hazard mapping helps us to locate or find out areas where landslides can occur anytime. Hence, such areas can be avoided for building settlements or schools, roads, hotels, or other purposes of construction activity. Number 2, construction of a retention wall to stop land from slipping. A retaining wall is a structure that holds or stops soil behind it. Examples of a retaining wall include wall stones, natural stones, bricks, and concrete block. Number 3, increase in the vegetation cover is also an effective way to stop or arrest landslide. The proper drainage systems also helps to stop the movement of soil or land along with rainwater and spring flows. Hence, if these measures are opted properly, we can stop landslides. We all know land is made up of different kinds of soil. But how is a soil formed? The thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. It is closely linked to land. Landforms determine the type of soil. Soil is made up of organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks formed on the earth. Soil is formed by a process called weathering. The right mix of minerals and organic matter make the soil fertile. The breaking up and decay of rocks by temperature changes, frost action, plants, animals, and man is known as weathering. It takes hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil. So we need to conserve soil, for soil is another precious natural resource. The major factors of soil formation are the nature of the parent rock, that is, the kind of parent rock shows the kind of soil which will be formed when that parent rock gets broken due to temperatural changes or action of water, wind, plants, animals, and man. Apart from nature of parent rock, climatic factors, time, topography, role of organic material also helps in the composition of soil formation. All these differ from place to place. The excessive human activity has led to a lot of soil degradation. Soil erosion and depletion are the major threats of soil as a resource. Both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of soils. Factors which lead to soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, rainwash, landslides, and floods. We all know deforestation is the cutting down of forests and trees over a large scale. Overgrazing is excessive grazing of livestock which leads to damage to grassland. The too much use of chemical fertilizer or pesticides also makes the soil lose its fertility. Rainwash, landslides, and floods also move the top layer of fertile soil, which also is one of the major reasons of the decrease in the fertility of soil. There are certain methods which can be followed for soil conservation. These are: number 1, mulching. A mulch is a layer of applying organic matter like straw to the surface of soil. Reasons for applying mulch is to conserve soil moisture, improve soil fertility and health of the soil, and also to reduce the weed growth and improve the visual appeal of the area. Number 2, Constructing contour barriers. Contour lines are completely level lines across a slope. Stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contour lines, and trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. Contour barriers helps to stop the flowing water and soil particles. Number 3. Construction of rock dam. Rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. A gully is a landform created by running water. Number 4. Terrace farming. These are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. Number 5. Intercropping. Intercropping. Different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. Number 6. Contour plowing. Plowing on the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope is also one of the methods through which we can stop soil erosion. Number 7. Shelter belts. Under shelter belts, rows of trees are planted in the coastal and dry regions to check the wind movement in order to protect the soil cover. Hence, the adoption of these methods will help in stopping soil erosion, and it will promote the most economic use of soil. With that, I conclude the first part of this lesson.